Shalom. I want to start by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Wa'arukah Kudash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace, salutation to Akim across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. It's an article that I came across, that I stumbled upon from NOS, which is a big news platform here in Holland. So the article is about, I'm just going to read it. Black Africans want to leave Tunisia over president's inflammatory speech. Black migrants living in Tunisia and are leaving the country following an inflammatory speech by Tunisian President Said last week. He called the migrants a great danger to the country. Since then, hostility against them has increased. And don't forget, all those nations, all those heathens, they all hate us. They all, I said it, they either had us in captivity or they are, I said it, profiting from the fact that we are at the bottom, because that's the case, we're the tail. Let me see, I was thinking about the scripture in 6 Maccabees. Because, like I said, all the nations, either they had us in captivity or they are profiting from the fact that we are at the bottom. And don't forget, all those nations, they got a name for our people, whether it be Habit, which means it goes back to slave, or, nigger, you just name it, Arab, that's what the Turks like to do, They like to call us Arab, which means black. So they got, all kinds of things going on. So this is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. What nation had not a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoil? So, there's not one nation outside the children of Israel who didn't in some way profiting from us being in this state that we are. So back to the article. Black migrants living in Tunisia are leaving the country following an inflammatory speech by Tunisian President Said last week. He called the migrants a great danger to the country. Since then, hostility against them has increased. In his speech, Said spoke of a plot to change Tunisia's demographic structure, in other words, to make Tunisia less Arab, says journalist Fayrouz Ben Salah in the NOS Radio 1 journaal. She lives in the capital Tunis. He also said that mass migration must end quickly because all African migrants would be involved in crime and violence. And that's funny, That's funny. All those heathens, they saying that while they be the one, who slaughter you. Don't forget, don't forget what those Arabs been doing to our people. Castrate them. That's the thing that they like to do. Get your daughter, use her as a slave. Rape her. Things like that. Don't forget the Syria. Until this day, they selling West Africans, refugees. They be sold into slavery, man. Those people, they hate us, man. They hate us. That's why you shouldn't feel sorry. If you hear another bullshit story about Ukraine, don't feel sorry for those bastards, man. They deserve it. Don't forget, they really hate our people, man. Was one of the Akyab told a story concerning a female. She was fled from Ukraine, I think she was also with children. Slakia. And she was with the children, and so she was living in the UK, and it was in an area where you had a lot of East Indians, living there. And the UK, you got a lot of those people. So she was complaining about, there was the neighborhood was too dark, too much diversity on the schools and stuff. As he said, she saw in basically online views or stuff, polls and stuff like that. She saw that the area that she was living was a very bad area, so she didn't like it, and eventually she moved. But people like that, you should kick it right back to the war, man. You fled from the so-called Cold War, and then you start complaining about where you live in. Have a whole room with multiple bedrooms in it, and you're still complaining while you're coming from a area of, where there is war. Yeah, fuck these people, man. Said's words drew fierce criticism from the African Union. The AU urged to avoid racial hate speak and said it was deeply shocked and concerned by the Tunisian leader's position. And this is funny, this politics, these politicians, they're always shocked. Fucking bullshit. The Tunisian foreign ministry subsequently spoke of unfounded allegations and said the government the government's position had been misunderstood. Said denied his comments were racist and said migrants who live legally in Tunisia have nothing to fear. Said ethnocentric language follows earlier oppressive policies in the country, says Ben Salah. Tunisia has been changed in a kind of an arrest campaign since the end of January. Hundreds of migrants were arrested. People without a residence permit are still detained. Since the president's speech, Tunisian citizens have also started to get involved in policy. Some people are evicted by homeowners, others lose their jobs, says the journalist. There are also Tunisians who stop migrants on the streets themselves. They ask for a passport or residence permit and then hand the people over to the police. Migrants are also attacked on or harassed on the streets. And you know what the fun part is? All your heathens, you're gonna get this back, man. You're gonna be rewarded double. And your time is about to done, man. You're living basically in your final seconds. Intentionally, hundreds of people also took the streets into the capital Tunis on Saturday to protest against Said's policies and express their solidarity with the migrants. The hostility towards migrants is not the result of extreme problems, notes notes Ben Salah. That's the strange thing. There weren't that many problems and there aren't many migrants either. In total, there are about 21,000 migrants living in Tunisia. And you gotta understand that this is also part of the curses. What yeah, it's part of the curse, and it's also the time that we're in. The Mosai is getting people ready for that race war. That hatred. Don't forget, these people got a hatred towards our people, and it's very deep. It's very deep hatred. In total, there are about 21,000 migrants living in Tunisia. They are more likely to be victims of crime. They are more likely to be victims of crimes themselves because they have no rights and therefore cannot report the crime. Oh, you see that? There's a lot of shit going on. Most migrants also want to travel to Europe. Let me see. Most migrants also want to travel to Europe via Tunisia. The border is sealed shut. Due to reinforced border security, migrants are more or less locked up. So it's a problem that people stay in Tunisia longer than hoped. According to Ben Salah, two things are at the root of the animosity. One, on the one hand, there's already a culture of the whiter the better. The racism is already there. Yeah, like I said, these heathens they don't like us, man. These females might like us, but as a nation they don't like us. That racism is already there. Second, the economy is doing very badly. The president has tried to divert attention and create a common enemy. As a result, many of people are trying to leave the country. The embassies of the countries of origin arrange that they can be repatriated at the request of the immigrants themselves, said Ben Salah. Since the beginning of this week, people from Ivory Coast have been sleeping in front of their embassy because they don't feel safe anywhere else, says Ben Salah. Today or tomorrow, about 800 people will be picked up from Ivory Coast. On Wednesday, there was 500 people from Guinea. The authorities of Mali, Cameroon, and Burkina Faso are still making an inventory of who wants to return. People can register at the embassy. It's not a simple process, said the journalist. The Tunisian authorities are blocking the reparation because a fine must be paid, which can amount to €1,000. People who live in Tunisia without papers must officially pay a fine. If you don't do this for a number of years, it can it can add up considerably. So that's the article. So like I said, it doesn't matter where we are. The people, basically, yeah, the people will always look down upon us. But it's part of the curses. Let me see. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 64. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth and even to the other, and there shalt thou serve other powers, other gods, which neither thou nor thy father have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. Let me see. Verse 65. And among these nations, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 65, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. Yeah, and that's still the case for a lot of our people. They're sleeping in front of the embassy, but they have no peace, man. Those heathens, like I said, they already hate us, but yeah, when the time's gonna be there, it's gonna be beautiful. So yeah, man. Let me see. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Just want to do a short video about this article. It kind of got my attention, and yeah, that's it, yo. So with that, I want to say, all praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Warukah Kudash, double honors to the Apostle and elders of Great Millstone, for teaching us the scriptures, among other things, and salutation to all your Akim across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. So with that, I'm going to say, Shalom.